Marketer of the Day, episode 619, Ace the Game of Viral Content, Attention Getting, and Traffic with Vin Clancy.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Marketer of the Day podcast. We are joined here with infamous growth hacker Vin Clancy, and Vin went from being on social welfare in the UK to launching 2 online magazines that got over 20 million page views in their first 2 years with no ad spend. And since then, he's won Best Speaker at South by Southwest V2V for his growth hacking talk. He finished a 100-date world tour. He's made 6 figures on his debut growth hacking book. He's created one of the biggest marketing communities on Facebook. And there's all kinds of achievements we could list if we wanted to, but that would take all day long. So Vin, how the heck are you?
I'm sensational. I am here in Los Angeles. The weather is sunny as hell.
Cool. Yeah, never changes. Gets a little boring, right?
No, I'm from England. Believe me, it never gets boring.
Nice. Okay, I guess that's a good point, right? So, but then when there's a little bit of rain, then everyone drives like crap, right? In Los Angeles.
I don't drive. I just sit in the back of an Uber and sort of rest and think about life. I think driving is a very 90s idea, you know? Us Gen Z and millennial kids don't bother with it.
Right, you're hooked in on the future, and you just wait a few more years, driving will be illegal. It'll all be done by robot cars anyway. So you're ahead of all of us. So yeah, so you are a growth hacker. You are doing so well that you're living in sunny Los Angeles, taking your Uber rides. So what is your secret? How the heck did you have all this huge, rapid success?
Sure. So the secret is using the cheat codes of the internet to get a competitive advantage. Until the internet came along, business was really about who you knew. And if you weren't in the right circles, you just couldn't progress. And it was expensive to do marketing to get, foot flow into your shop. But now there is internet, anyone can pull traffic out of thin air, particularly through social media platforms and then communities that you own, such as an email list or a Facebook group. So you're in control a lot more. So what I did was I learned how to create viral content. I started to get people to write it for me. I learned how to make that go viral. And within a year, Planet Ivy had 1 million visitors a month. I raised $250,000 and got off welfare. And my second website got to 1 million visitors in a month within 100 days.
Crazy awesomeness. So when you say that you're making viral content, what does that mean exactly? And what's the thought process? How do you develop something that will go viral?
So back then we were creating written copy maybe because video can't be watched at work or in your lecture. And it was really interesting recently where there was a big scandal because, as it turns out, Facebook video views were largely inflated. And at the same time, it was realized that video views don't convert better than picture posts. It's a big anomaly. So this whole video revolution, to a certain extent, it has happened, but not at the expense of picture and text content. So it was really interesting for us. We would get articles and they'd end up on the front page of Reddit, and we get hundreds of thousands of views sometimes in a day. So you have to know what your audience wants, and that comes with being in tune with the heartbeat of the internet. And Reddit is a place where you can find what's happening right now. Everything that ever goes viral starts on Reddit.
Right. Yeah. Like I probably use Reddit more than Facebook, and most of the friends I know don't even use Reddit. They're just on Facebook. So whenever they see a meme or a graphic or something go viral, I say, yeah, I saw that 3 days ago on Reddit. It started there, and then it spread from there. And so you're on Reddit to get these ideas for these sort of viral posts. And so do you subscribe to any specific subreddits? Like, are you tuned into like the entrepreneurial stuff and like what's related to your business, or do you just look on the front page or the popular stuff, or how do you use Reddit to get those ideas?
So Reddit has millions of little subreddits, so you can find different ideas for no matter what your niche is. It's a more useful place to spend your time browsing than Facebook, because for the most part, things that are bad get downvoted. So there is a bit of brigading and favoritism towards certain things, but there's so many people contributing content that you will find the relevant areas every day on the front page of your sub.
All right. So let's say you go to that front page and you're looking at what gets upvoted and what's hot right now. Where do you go from there? How do you have something interesting to say that taps into what people want, but without being a Me Too sort of copycat?
So it's about giving your own take on everything. So Gary Vaynerchuk's the best at this. He tends to just DJ what other people are talking about and brings that to his audience. And then he puts his own spin on it. It's just about really having a passion for whatever it is that you do, because that really shows. Like you can outdo the person next to you just by being more passionate, even above being more knowledgeable. If it shows that you really care about what you're doing, that makes a big difference.
Okay. So do you have an interesting story to walk us through that a little bit? Like, have you had some scenario or some time when you went on that front page of Reddit, you found something specific people were talking about, you applied your own take, your own knowledge, your own passion, and then made your own version of that go viral?
Sorry, say that again.
So do you have an interesting story where you did this, where you we implemented this, where you found something interesting on Reddit and then made your own content based on it?
Well, that's almost the entire story of Planet Ivy and Screen Robot. I mean, let me put it this way. Don't you find it strange that there's no money in journalism? All the magazines and newspapers are in big problems. They can't monetize, and yet the news industry is bigger than ever. Do you not see that strange? The reason it's happening is because everyone is sitting on Reddit and just copying each other's stories. So it's not even the story of us. This is the story of the entire publishing industry. Everyone just has a hot take on it. And in fact, if you have the hottest take, you go viral on Twitter, which unfortunately has meant more extreme takes take up the most publicity, which you've seen with certain parts of society who have latched onto certain ideas and made them bigger. So it's not even the story of us. This is the story of Reddit has basically kept the entire publishing industry alive. The internet, a whole of people stealing stories of each other.
So is there a specific story that comes to mind that you were able to latch onto?
We did many. So we took ideas from Reddit and then we would start series around that idea and then blow them up and then they would go viral everywhere. We did a story about, this is kind of a legendary story that really changed my life. This is the ugly baby that made me $250,000. So there was a couple in China and the woman was good looking and the guy was okay. And then they have this baby and the baby's really ugly and the guy don't get it. He's like, you're really good looking. This baby's really ugly. And she broke down and said, actually, I had plastic surgery. I looked different before. And then he said, well, I married you under false pretenses. So he took the case to divorce court and he won, and she had to pay him something like $60,000. And we were the first ones to get that story and have a picture of the baby. And our story went viral everywhere. Like Yahoo picked it up, I think Spectator linked to us, The Week, Inquisitor, Gorka, RIP. Like lots and lots of big sites picked it up off us, and I think that story did 800,000 visitors to our site because they all link back to us. We were the first ones to break that story, and that ultimately led to a big chunk of us getting that $250,000 investment. Wherever that baby is, man, I'd like to buy it a beer when it grows up.
That's amazing. Yeah, because when you have a story like that gets picked up, I mean, first of all, you didn't even have to really invent a lot. You just picked up on what was up and coming, and then once you get those links back from those huge media outlets, from those blogs, I mean, those are there forever. And then now that's an extra credibility tool for you and your business to use for, for selling a course, or like when you said getting your investors. It's like that, just all that extra publicity adds value to you. So it seems like from hearing your answers here that the speed is really a factor, that if you were scrolling through Reddit and you said, oh, the ugly baby story, that's a good idea, maybe I'll get to that in a week. If you waited even a day or a few hours, someone else would have beaten you to it. Is that right, or is that wrong?
So yeah, it's about seconds, not hours, how fast you can be relevant with your audience. And then eventually they'll see you as the person who brings the most interesting and important stories forward first.
Okay. So in order to get those important stories out there first, and do it in a matter of seconds, do you have a template, or is there a certain thought process you go through, or is it just a matter of your take and maybe be a little extreme and edgy?
Yeah, that'll pretty much do it.
Okay. And then as far as the aspect of getting these links back, getting reported by like the Gawkers and the Week and all those sorts of news outlets, does that all happen on its own, or do you and your team do any sort of proactive reaching out, contacting them on your own?
It's a bit of both. To be honest with you, I haven't run this business in about 4 years, and I've done a lot of different things since. So it might have changed. Like since then, I became a growth hacker, and I started growth hacking other people's companies, getting them traffic, customers, followers, growing their email lists. Did a 100-day world tour speaking about growth hacking. Released a book on growth hacking, did $100,000 in pre-orders. Moved to the United States and just released my second book, Ace the Game, the 100 Best Growth Hacks in the World, which did $10,000 in revenue in the first hour. So yeah, it's been a wild trip. Online magazines were my entrance into this world back when I was on welfare, and now I guess I'm a full stack business person, whatever that means.
Awesome. Moving on to the next big thing. So this term growth hacking is you hear that bandied about. You hear people use this kind of term. What is growth hacking to you? Like what's the definition of that?
So growth hacking is getting a lot done with little resources. Growth hacking is the independent artist who hustles to make his track go viral. Growth hacking is the startup that suddenly gets tens of thousands of app downloads overnight because they got featured on some meme pages who loved their app. So growth hacking is doing whatever it takes to get a lot of traffic basically for free or cheap. And what's interesting about that is because we're all addicted to our phones and our screens, things can pass around very fast in a way that was never possible before.
Interesting. So I can see how that skill you developed years ago of getting attention, going viral, tapping into the movements that are already taking place can apply to some of this sort of guerrilla marketing, or this free or cheap, ways to get attention, publicity, and traffic. And so when you come to some sort of company and you're looking to help them out with their growth hacking, where do you start? Do you look at what's missing? Do you say you could get traffic from this? What's the jumping in point?
So people often say to me, how do we get traffic out of thin air? You know how to do that. And I say, yes, but show me your existing customer list, show me your existing buyers list. And let's start by giving new services to these people, because it's a lot easier to get more money out of people who have already bought than finding new customers out of thin air. And it's a lot more profitable. You can add a lot more revenues. So I'm a big fan of creating a value ladder. You give out free value, blog posts, tweets, Instagram posts, giving live talks, free ebooks, and then having a low cost first entrance. So an ebook or a low cost version of your main product, and then like $100 product. And then from there, $1,000 and beyond. But you move people up this value ladder from zero right up to whatever your high ticket is. And through that, you have a business that has 3 or 4 layers, not just one way of making money. So once we've discovered that, it's about inventing those services. And in terms of finding traffic, it depends where their audience is. Could be working through affiliates, could be going viral on Instagram. It's whatever is right.
Okay, so when I'm hearing your answer here, what it makes me think of is when I work with businesses, it seems like a really common problem is that they have all these existing customers and they don't know what to do with them, right? It seems like they have this list, but they're not using it and they're not monetizing it. So those things that you said there of go to those existing customers and add the value ladder. It seems like that's just because a lot of business owners out there don't know that they can keep contacting their list and they don't know of ways to monetize that list, don't you think?
Yeah, so it's really about the amount of study you've done. Like I've been in the game like 6 years now, so I have accumulated a lot of this knowledge. So I've seen virtually every business. I consulted a bank in Serbia. I worked with celebrities, personal brands, artists, public companies that do over $1 billion in revenue. And I've worked with the little guy who's getting his business off the ground for the first time. So a lot of it does come with experience, but growth hacking gets you there quicker because to get traffic, to get customers quicker, you just learn a lot more.
Okay, and then also it seems as if these same strategies apply again and again, right? Whether you're dealing with that bank in Serbia or you're dealing with the smaller businesses or the public companies, there's still those marketing principles, right? There's those fundamentals. There's having the online presence. It seems like no matter what the industry or the size of the business, they all need these same elements.
Yeah, 100%.
So how does your Ace the Game book relate to this? Is this like a walkthrough of how to growth hack your company, or what do people get when they read through Ace the Game?
So Ace the Game, I wrote because most other books suck. Most other books are like, here's what worked for me 5 years ago, and here's some stories about my family and personal life that aren't really relevant, but I have to pad the book out. So I didn't want to do a book like that, or for me to say, hey, here's some of my methods, they're amazing. So the 100 Best Growth Hacks is a collection from the best growth hackers in the industry. So it's people who have spent $60 million on Facebook ads. It's people who have raised tens of millions in ICOs, cryptocurrency initial offerings. So people who have really done it. People who are right now growing Instagram accounts into the hundreds of thousands, people who have massive email lists. So I got them to donate 1 or 2 major growth hacks, like the most powerful ones they have. And then I put that all together and that became Ace the Game.
Killer. So out of all these growth hacks that people have contributed to this book, is there 1 or 2 that are like your ultimate favorite, like favorite growth hack ever?
There's many. I mean, Jarvee is the best social media software in the world right now, but fully automating your LinkedIn, your Instagram, and Twitter. Like, I can't recommend that highly enough. It takes a little time to learn that software, but once you do, it's just so much better than all of those other little pieces of software that cost $50 per month and someone does it for you. But you can learn it and master it yourself. Generally speaking, in terms of I need to get more leads, where should I start? I'm a big fan of Linked Helper. So Linked Helper allows you to put in a search. So maybe it's entrepreneurs in San Francisco, and it will run around connecting with all of the people who match that search. And then if they accept your connection request, it'll send them a first message. So if you send them a humorous, fun message like, this is what I do, this is why we should talk. If not, feel free to send back as many swear words as you want. I print them out and keep them on my wall. So some bit of fun like that really helps you stand out. So Linked Helper is amazing software. Jarvie is amazing software. And Rebump is the legendary sales tool. If you email someone and they don't get back to you, Rebump will email them every 24 hours forever.
Oh, wow. I'm definitely going to try that one out. That's funny. So there are all these amazing tools that we haven't even heard of before. So Javi to automate our LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. Linked Helper to connect with a matched search and then send that first message and make it something humorous. That way it's doing a lot of the work for us. And then Rebump, a sales tool where it keeps contacting them every 24 hours. Is that every 24 hours until they open the message or they respond, or what's the termination there?
They respond.
All right. So what sort of message do you send using that?
So the key is to use humor. So my friend John Buchan has a group called Charm Offensive on Facebook, which teaches you how to write with that. It's just very disarming because most business is very standoffish and a firm handshake. But if you use humor and fun, you really stand out and make an impression.
All right. Well, great. So it seems like that's a common theme here as far as, don't just do the cookie cutter stuff. Don't just do what you think is a good idea. Look at what's out there. Look at what gets attention. Look at what catches on, and then tap into that and do things to stand out from the crowd and break that pattern. If everyone is trying to be super formal and just using the same professional terminology, why not add a little bit of humor in there in order to maybe get a response when we otherwise wouldn't have, and be on the lookout for these tools to make it even easier for us. So you have this Ace the Game book, and do you have any websites, resources, links to drop for us to help us with this growth hacking, with this acing of the game? Any links for us here today?
Yeah, so acethegame.com is the new book. You can find me on socials, Vin Clancy. I have a Facebook group, Traffic and Copy, which has the latest growth hacks from me and my co-founder, Charlie Price, every day. So between all of that, you're really ready to take on the world.
I think so. It sure beats trying to do it by trial and error or by guessing. It's better to find someone like Mr. Vin Clancy here, who has already paved the trail, and then you can just model his success. And that way, because things change so quickly these days, you don't have time to spend a year trying to get it to work. You need to see what's working now. That way you can take that fast action. So on social media, that's Vin Clancy. On Facebook, there's that Traffic and Copy group. I think I might be in that. That sounds really familiar. And then acethegame.com is the place that we can all find the book. So we'll see you there at acethegame.com, at the Traffic and Copy Facebook group, and then go and reach out and follow Vin Clancy on social media to see what kind of amazing adventures that he's having there in Los Angeles. So thanks so much, Vin, for stopping by and sharing your story and giving us all kinds of insights. I love that list of tools in particular, so thank you.
Great.
Go right now to marketeroftheday.com/iTunes to subscribe to the show, listen to other episodes, and rate and review the show.